Finally, the slating of the roof is finished, and I'm on to the next stage. Before I show the next stage, I'll give you a quick look around the slate on the top of the roof. Let's see what we can do. As you can see, I've completed the hip tiles on the left and the right hand side. The hip tiles are those that go up the ridge. Sorry, not the ridge, but the sides of the roof. It just sort of gives a nice pattern, and it does help to direct the rain away from the hip itself. Hope the zoom in wasn't too severe. On top of the ladders now, so I hope I'm not too shaky. Over the ridge. There you go. And from the right hand side. Okay, this is probably a familiar view that you've already seen. And one from the rear. It's a little bit more difficult because of the trees and the branches. Well, it's identical to the front really. Also done is just cut the tiles to give a bit of an angle on each corner. I don't know if you can see it there. I'll try a different angle. Okay, that's the corner from the front, where I've cut the tile slightly up, and it complements the upward curve of the roof. Okay, we're inside, so that's the original colour, just to give it a perspective. And that's with the light oak satin paint on, wood paint. So I'll do the inside tomorrow, then I'll show you how it looks inside. Well, good morning. So today I'm back on the Japanese tea house, and I'm going to start looking at the window, the rear window. I've got some strip wood, and I'm going to use that to hold the window in. I'll be using putty, but first I need to measure all the beading. So I'm going to use a 6mm by 20mm strip wood. I'll cut it to shape and cut 4 lengths to the size of the window, and if I feel that'll do the job, I'll then paint it mahogany, fit the window with putty, and put these into place just to hold the window in place. So that's where the window is going to sit. As you can see, I've got a top window and a bottom window, and that will form the window picture frame. And when the window is finally fitted, that's the view we'll get from the front doors. So you'll see the tree, minus that old fence at the back. I shall clean all that up and probably put some planting there. I'm undecided what type of shrubs or planting I'll do yet, but I'll make my mind up once the window is fitted. What I'm using now is a miter to cut the trim. I've measured it out to length. Now all I have to do is cut the 45 degrees and place it against the frame. There we have the trim ready to fit on top of the windows. But what I've done in the meantime, I've just placed them in position and we'll temporarily tack them to the frame, paint them, and when it dries, take them out, put the window in, so when the trim goes on the top, there's zero chance of getting paint on the window. So each piece of trim I've just tacked in temporarily, as you can see there. Just come out there, so on every side. I'm going to paint the trim in position, mahogany, and when it dries I'll just take the tacks out, fit the window with putty, and then replace the trim. And because it's been previously painted, there's no need to paint after I put the trim to retain the windows into place. So that's the window trim come beading finished. I've painted it, so all that I need to do tomorrow when I fit the window is remove them first, simply by taking that little tack out there, one on every side, put putty in, put the window retaining clips in, I'll show you those tomorrow, push the window into the putty, and then fit the trim on top to completely hold it in and seal it. Similarly, I've done the front panels. I fitted those completely now, and I've put just one coat, well, 2 coats of mahogany on, and it's slightly lighter than the rest of it, but as it dries and ages over the next few weeks it will get darker, and I'll just put more and more coats on to get it the same colour as the rest of the frame. So the left hand panels are the one with the trim, and the right hand panels are the ones without the trim. So the trim definitely tidies everything up and certainly hides the screws where I put the plywood on. So I'll start completing the rest of the trim tomorrow. I think it's getting a little bit duller. It's around about 6 in the evening. So that's it for today. Okay, I'm unpacking the windows now. They arrived around about mid-June. Therefore, I don't think they broke. It's now about the 14th of August. I think it's Friday anyway. I think it's Friday, 14th of August. I haven't opened it. There's absolutely no sign of damage whatsoever. On the box, front, I'll try and show you now. Here we go. Front. Or to the rear. Actually, I don't know if it was front or rear, but there's no sign of damage anyway on the packaging. So what I'm going to do now is just take the straps off and slowly have a look at the package. I'm just going to lean it in fact, I'm not going to lean it against the wall, I'm going to put it flat on the floor So there's absolutely no possibility of this the glass falling over as I unopen it. So I'm putting it on the floor here. There you go. Nice and gentle. So I've got a pair of snips. I'll stick my phone out of the pocket. There we go. I have to say, I've heard no sound whatsoever. A shattered glass, so I'm confident everything's okay. Very well packaged, I have to say that. Get these straps out of the way. Just dispose of them in the bin, the waste over there. I don't want to just throw them on the ground, otherwise I'll end up tripping on them. But undoubtedly with glass in my hand, which I don't want. Oh. It's that well packaged I can't get into it. Just a tape. And the moment of truth. Everything looks hunky-dory, very well packaged. Everything's intact, I think. There we go. There we go. He does it. Everything's intact. So here we are, they're basically suckers. There's a special offer on Amazon. 2 for £9.95, so I jumped at it. I've tried them on a fixed window and without putting too much pressure because of the damage, I tried to pull them off and they stuck absolutely solidly. So I bought 2 because I'm thinking if one fails, then I've still got the other. So, over precautious, but I don't care. The windows cost too much to take extra care. So, the first thing I've done is cleaned up around the frame itself. I've scraped away the paint. The putty needs to absorb into the wood itself to get a good seal and adhesiveness. Plus, I've made some little packers, 10mm packers. They're just out of the trim, and I've simply used this stuff, a small dab of adhesive come sealant, just to stick them into place. Now, the sealant itself hasn't gone past the little pack itself. I don't want it to contaminate the putty, so it's just holding them into place. So the first thing I'm going to do now is lay down some bedding of putty, and I'll show you that. Okay, so there we are. I've put the putty in the rebate, and as you can see, just down there I've got the trim that'll go on the outside. So let's fit the window and then the trims. The trims will actually hold the window into place. Now, you can't see the little packers, but I know where they are. They're just behind the putty. So let's fit the window. So I've fitted the trim, and now what I'm doing, I'm just putting a bead of putty just down from the window, just there, just down to the trim, so when the rain does hit it, it falls on a slant and it doesn't go behind the trim and not the wood. So I'll leave that for about, I don't know, 20 days, 10-20 days, till it completely hardens, and then I'll paint it. Obviously I haven't cleaned the putty up yet. I've still got to flatten this side here. I've started flattening that one, then all you do is just trim the excess putty away to give a nice neat finish. And I'll show you the finish straight after this clip. So there we go then. So the window's in place now, the putty's been scraped back, and all that I need to do is to polish the window. Having said that, I'll probably do that after the putty has set, just for a few more days. I don't want to disturb the putty. So there we are. As you can see, the actual trim itself, I'll just put a little tacking nail in each corner to hold everything into place. And that's the first window in. Like I say, as soon as the putty has dried a little bit, I'll just brush all the excess putty off, you can see just on the frame there, and give it another dose of mahogany paint. And the next window to go in is this top one. Okay, to the rear window then, the larger one of the two, and I've fitted that, and identically to the bottom one, I'll put the putty in. Now all I've got to do at the top here is to put the top beading trim in to hold the window in finally, and that's what I'm going to do now, and then just knock the nails in gently without shattering the glass, hopefully. So I've already put the nails in, temporary, just there. So all I've got to do is put the trim against the window and tap these into place. I've also got a layer of putty just there, so I'm going to squeeze the putty out, get it nice and flat and flush. There we go. In that goes. What I'm going to use is the wooden handle just to gently squeeze that putty out. I don't want to slip, otherwise I'll go through the window. There we are. Can you see the putty just squeezing out? Well, as I was doing the video, the battery of the iPad ran out, so I've just recharged it, and a little bit later in the evening. But that's the finished window. That's the putty work of the bottom window, and of course the top window. So I've cleaned it all up, scraped it back, and all that I need to do now is to wait until it dries in about 4 weeks' time. After which I'll paint the putty, give the frame another lick of paint, and go from there. So that's from the inside. Now it's getting a bit dull and the light's going right down, so I have painted the ceiling with another coat of light oak, but I don't think you can see it. It's probably too dark. Let's see what we can do outside. Yes, as I thought, it's a little bit too dark, but the light oak does go with the mahogany, in my view at least. So there we have it. Roof finished, slated, and the back windows in. So I think the next task, like I said earlier, was just to do the trim, the beading around the panels on the outside. Those are the two front panels I've completed and put the first coat of paint on. And on the next video, I'll be completing the beading and perhaps starting the roof or the skylight windows. Till then, have a good one.